Hi, Zachamels here. Not an animal video today, but hopefully tomorrow there will be. Instead, it is GCSE Edexcel History, covering the key events of the Weimar Republic and Hitler's rise to power. In 1918, World War I had severely affected the country of Germany. 2 million German troops had died, and government debt tripled. The devastating effects left on people meant they had no other choice but to revolt. Kaiser Wilhelm tried to refuse the people's wants, but eventually he abdicated on 9th of November and fled to the Netherlands. Friedrich Ebert became the new leader and created the German Republic. Ebert signed the armistice for World War I, ending the war for good. But this was arguably worse for Germany and ended up annoying more people. In the Treaty of Versailles, Britain, France and the USA agreed that Germany should lose territory, such as the Polish corridor, should have reduced military, reduced to only 100,000 men in the army, should have to pay 132 billion marks in reparations, and that Germany had to take all the blame for World War I. The people of Germany saw this as a stab in the back, which caused opposition, such as the Sportacist Revolt. These were communists, which meant they were left-wing, and they were led by Rosa Luxemburg and Karl Liebknecht, and they were eventually stopped by the Freikorps. But then, the Freikorps led their own revolt, known as the Kapp Putsch. The Freikorps were nationalists, which meant they were right-wing, and they were led by Wolfgang Kapp. They were eventually stopped by workers. In Friedrich Ebert's new government, there was the Weimar Constitution. This had weaknesses, such as Article 48, which meant the president could act without approval in an emergency. But an emergency was not defined, so this was abused often. There was also proportional representation, which meant each party had enough seats in Parliament to have a say in issues. However, this made it difficult to agree on issues, as each party had equal say. There was also more positive things, such as the Bill of Rights and free speech. In 1923, there was a crisis year. There was hyperinflation. Bread went from costing 1 mark to 200,000 billion marks. Savings became worthless, but people could pay off loans and mortgages. Also in 1923, there was the invasion of the Ruhr, where the French took raw materials for reparations. And finally, there was Hitler. In the Munich Putsch, Hitler gathered 1,000 SA and 2,000 volunteers and marched to the centre of Munich to declare himself president. This didn't work, and Hitler had a 5-year sentence in prison, where he wrote the book Mein Kampf. However, overall this benefited Hitler, as he could plot a less violent approach, and had a relaxed time in prison, and only ended up serving 9 months. Stresemann tried to fix many of Germany's issues. He introduced the Rentenmark, which was a new currency but was more tightly controlled. He introduced the Dawes and Young plans, which reduced overall reparations and reduced individual payments. They did this by getting US loans. There was also the Kellogg-Briand Pact, an agreement between 62 nations to avoid the use of war. Then, in 1924 to 1929, there were the Golden Years. These were good years for women, as they could have more high-status jobs, they could vote, and even had a 90% turnout in elections, and marriage became an equal partnership. It was also a good year for workers, as their working hours were reduced and their wages rose, and overall working conditions were improved. But then afterwards there was Nazi growth in support, as they recognised the benefit of Weimar weaknesses. They had the slogan "Bread and Work", which appealed to unemployed working class. They appealed to the middle class by saying they'd protect them from communists. They appealed to the upper class businessmen by saying they would solve the economy. They appealed to young people as they were an exciting new thing, and they tried to appeal to women by saying they were the best party to save families. Next was Hitler's rise to Chancellor. Friedrich Ebert was no longer president. It was Hindenburg, a war hero. The Chancellor was Brüning, on the right. He bans the SA and announces a plan to buy up land from landowners to house the unemployed. This is unpopular, and Brüning resigns. He is replaced by von Papen, a good friend of Hindenburg, but he then resigns to avoid a civil war with right-wing supporters. Then von Schleicher tries to become Chancellor. He tries to become the head of a military dictatorship, and to avoid this, Hindenburg was persuaded by von Papen to appoint Hitler as Chancellor and Hindenburg as Vice-Chancellor. But Hitler still did not have enough power to change Germany in the way he wanted. But this soon changed. The Reichstag building burnt down, which caused another election, which secured more Nazi seats. They now had a majority, so they could pass any law they wanted. There was also the Night of the Long Lives, when 85 SA members were killed, as well as Ernst Röhm, who was not trusted by Hitler. Then, in 1934, Hindenburg died and Hitler became Fuhrer. It was now Nazi Germany, and the end of Weimar. Thanks for watching. I may do more videos like this, and also remember to look out for my next video tomorrow or soon after. Bye.